South Africa's embattled power utility Eskom has announced that stage 2 of load shedding will continue until at least Sunday, February the 23rd. Worryingly, though, Eskom notes that the energy grid will likely remain constrained into March, with the threat of short-notice load shedding looming greater than ever before. Well, let's talk to our correspondent in South Africa, Katlego Lekodi, for more on this and a wrap-up of the week. Good afternoon, Katlego. Well, it looks like it will be a dark weekend following Eskom's announcement of the stage 2 of load shedding continuing till at least Sunday. How are you in South Africa preparing for this?
A very good afternoon to you. It is indeed a lot for us here at home. As we speak, me and you right now, we are plunged into darkness here at the office. And indeed, as you rightly stated there, Eskom announcing that it will carry on load shedding, stage 2 load shedding throughout the weekend. This mainly being attributed to a constrained power supply system. And Eskom has indeed warned citizens that they should actually, continue using power sparingly and switch off all appliances that are not in use. Most of the people on the ground having to deal with the fact that load shedding, it is indeed a daily occurrence here on the ground, and many, like businesses have gone to actually find alternative supply or sources of electricity as the load shedding continues on the ground. It is not a good story, a great picture at all, because most people are frustrated by what is happening here.
Well, besides Eskom's announcement, though, what else is breaking in the corporate world?
Well, in the corporate world here at home, one major story is that of Anglo American Platinum. Well, Amplats has appointed one of the industry veterans into the position of CEO. Miss Natasha Feljune will take on, the position of CEO from former CEO Chris Griffiths, who announced that he will be resigning from his position. Well, Feljune has served as a group head of processing at a parastatal or parent company Anglo American since 2014. Well, she has held many roles at Lonmin, Anglo Gold, and BHP, and she comes with vast experience. One of the news that were welcomed by many corporates here on the ground, and she takes over a position that Mr. Griffith had to deal with in terms of turning Amplats around during a time whereby a petroleum price had crunched, and he made sure that while he was at the helm, he leaves the entity or the organization in a healthy state.
All right, Katlego, now fill us in on how the rand and the markets are performing at this time.
Well, the rand has been the worst performing among emerging market currencies, tracked by Bloomberg over the past 3 months. Bloomberg has been conducting more or less analysis in terms of how the rand has been doing. It was down by 4.36%, followed by a Chilean peso down by 4.14%. Economists alike here on the ground at home are saying that the currency's performance has been affected by global risk sentiments due to the spread of the coronavirus that many currencies are having to grapple with. And they're saying that also concerning is South Africa's economic trajectory ahead of the 2020 budget speech, which has not seen the rand doing fairly well amongst other major currencies around the world. Trading today at 15.14 to the dollar, 19.55 to the pound, and 16.37 to the euro.
All right, Katlego, just before I let you go, tell us what to expect from the markets next week.
Well, next week is a very big week for South Africa. Investors will be, eagerly awaiting the budget speech by Finance Minister Tito Mboweni, who's expected to deliver that speech this coming Wednesday, the 26th of February. The economic cluster, ministers have been consulting and meeting to help draft what they term as a realistic and positive budget that will help get the economy of the country moving and gaining well-needed traction. Many are predicting a bleak outlook, but will be having their fingers crossed, rather, for a solid budget that will see, speedy reforms that were announced by the President Cyril Ramaphosa in the State of the Nation's address. And this speech also, there's many saying that they're looking forward to a speech that will help the country avoid an imminent credit downgrade by Moody's, which is expected to present its forecast on the country's outlook in the coming month of March.
Well, many thanks, Katligo, and do have a great weekend.
Thank you very much.
Away from South Africa now to Namibia, which will repeal two controversial tax incentive policies for exporters and manufacturers, partly to meet a 2021 deadline set by the European Union to avoid being blacklisted as a tax haven. The country's finance minister says repealing the export processing zone and manufacturing tax incentives will help restore international confidence in the Southern African country and prevent a loss of government revenue. The regime exempted companies from corporate income tax, duties and value-added tax on machinery, equipment and raw materials imported for manufacturing purposes. The withdrawn taxes, which will affect at least 19 companies operating in the manufacturing, mineral processing and motor vehicle assembly sectors, will be replaced by special economic zones, a plan for which has been finalized. Colombia, the world's top supplier of washed Arabica, is creating a special fund to subsidize coffee farmers when production cuts fall below international prices. The Stabilization Fund is the country's latest bid to help farmers struggling as coffee prices have fallen to their lowest in more than a decade and many are operating at a loss. Do look at this.
Colombia has announced that it will launch a fund to stabilize coffee prices amidst volatility in the market. According to the country's Minister of Finance and Public Credit, the fund will support coffee growers with production costs and will safeguard against any falls in international coffee prices.
In my opinion, this is a historical day for coffee. The first time that we have a stabilization fund with the resources. We have just approved a budget of 218 billion pesos. That's approximately $63.9 million US. And shortly we will begin to carry out its functions in a way that will provide a path forward for the good of coffee growing in the country.
The coffee produced 13.6 million 60 kg bags of washed Arabica in 2018, down 4.5% from 14.2 million in 2017, as growers struggled with heavy rains and bleak international prices. The El Nino weather phenomenon has further strained coffee.
What we are going to have is a mechanism through which the coffee grower can see today's price and can be assured that it is secure in 6 months, 8 months, or 1 year when the harvest comes in. This is a commitment that income linked to the harvest is set. It will not be subject to uncertainties, to erratic prices, not just with coffee, but on other fronts.
According to Colombia's Coffee Federation, farmers need to make $240 for every 125 kg shipment on the market to meet production costs. In recent years, prices have often tracked below that standard.
And that's where we wrap up today's show. Thank you for watching. I am Bisi Adebayo.